The setting is Scotland, during a time when noblemen reigned and most people lived to serve them. In this poem by Sidney Lanier, we see the power of love, anger, and revenge. My name is Christina Wooten, and I will be sharing the Revenge of Hamish. It was 3 slim does and a 10-tined buck in the bracken lay, and all of a sudden, the sinister smell of a man, a waft on a wind shaft, wavered and ran down the hillside and sifted along through the bracken and passed that way. Then Allen the huntsman sprang over the hillock, and the hounds shot by. The does and the 10-tined buck made a marvelous bound, and Allen loud winded his horn in sign that the quarry was nigh. For at dawn of that day, proud MacLean of Lochby to the hunt had waxed wild, and he cursed at old Allen, till Allen fared off with the hounds for to drive in the deer to the lower glen grounds. "I will kill a red deer," quoth MacLean, "in the sight of the wife and child." So gaily he paced with his wife and child to his chosen stand, but he hurried tall Hamish, the henchman, ahead. "Go turn," cried MacLean. "If the deer seek to cross to the burn, do thou turn them to me, nor fail, lest thy back be as red as thy hand." Now hard-fortuned Hamish, half blown of his breath with the height of the hill, was white in the face, when the 10-tined buck and the does drew leaping to burnward. Huskily rose his shout, and his nether lip twitched, and his legs were o'erweak for his will. So the deer darted lightly by Hamish, and bounded away to the burn. But MacLean, never bating his watch, tarried, waiting below. Still, Hamish hung heavy with fear for to go, all the space of an hour. Then he went, and his face was greenish and stern. Now, grim henchman, what is it with thee?" brake MacLean, and his wrath rose red as a beacon. 3 does and a 10-tined buck made out, spoke Hamish, full mild. And I ran for to turn, but my breath, it was blown, and they passed. I was weak, for ye called ere I broke me my fast. Now a 10-tined buck, in the sight of the wife and the child, I had killed, if the gluttonous cur had not wrought me a snail's own wrong. Then he sounded, and down came kinsmen and clansmen all, 10 blows, for 10 tine on his back let fall. And ye reckon no stroke, if the blood follow not at the bite of the thong. So Hamish made bare, and took him his strokes. At the last, he smiled. "Now all to the burn," quoth MacLean, "for it may still be, if a slimmer paunched henchman will hurry with me, I will kill me the 10-tined buck for the wife and child." So the clansmen departed by this path and that, and over the hill sped MacLean with an outward wrath for an inward shame. In that place of the lashing full quiet became, and the wife and the child stood sad. The bloody-backed Hamish sat still. But look, red Hamish has risen. Quick, about and about turns he. "There is none betwixt me and the crag top," he screams under breath. Then, livid as Lazarus lately from death, he snatches the child from the mother and clambers the crag toward the sea. Now the mother drops breath. She is dumb, and her heart goes dead for a space, till motherhood, mistress of death, shrieks through the glen, and that place of the lashing is live with men, and MacLean and the gillie that told him dash up in a desperate race. Not a breath's time for asking. An eye glance reveals all the tale untold. They follow mad Hamish afar up the crag toward the sea, and the clansmen pant and they sweat and they jostle and strain. But mother, 'tis vain. But father, 'tis vain. stern Hamish stands bold on the brink and dangles the child o'er the deep. Now a faintness falls on the men that run, and they all stand still. But the wife prays Hamish as if he were God on her knees, crying, "Hamish! Oh, Hamish, but please, for to spare him." And Hamish still dangles the child with a wavering will. On a sudden he turns, with a seahawk scream and a jibe and a song, cries, "So, I will spare ye the child, if, in the sight of ye all, 10 blows on Maclean's bare back shall fall. And ye reckon no stroke, if the blood follow not at the bite of the thong." Then Maclean, he set hardly his tooth to his lip, that his tooth was red, breathed short for a space, said, "Nay, but it shall never be. Let me hurl off the odious hound in the sea." But the wife, "Can Hamish go fish us the child from the sea, if dead?" "Husband, the lashing will heal. But who will heal me the bonny sweet bairn in his grave? Quick, love, I will bear thee. So kneel." And Maclean began slowly to kneel, with never a word, till presently downward he jerked to the earth. Then the henchman, he that smote Hamish, would tremble and lag. "Strike hard," quoth Hamish, full stern from the crag. Then he struck him, and "One," sang out Hamish, and danced with the child in his mirth. And no man spake beside Hamish. He counted each stroke with a song. When the last stroke fell, he moved him a pace down the height, and held forth the child in the heart-aching sight of the mother, and looked all pitiful grave as repenting a wrong. And there, as the motherly arms stretched out with the thanksgiving prayer, and there, as the mother crept up with a fearful swift pace, till her finger nigh felt of the bairnie's face, in a flash, fierce Hamish turned round and lifted the child in the air, and sprang, with the child in his arms, from the horrible height into the sea, shrill screeching, "Revenge!" And pallid Maclean, age-feeble with anger and impotent pain, crawled up on the crag and lay flat, and locked hold of the dead roots of a tree and gazed hungrily o'er. And the blood from his back dripped in the brine. And a seahawk flung down a skeleton fish as he flew. And the mother stared white on the waste of blue. And the wind drove a cloud to seaward as the sun began to shine.